Hello and welcome to the penultimate episode of Clamp. I'm your host, Grant Alexander, and joining me, as always, is Adam Mackey and Jessy Radfink. And first, we're going to start off with Adam talking about what's in his clamps, while he frantically messages everyone in the world about his current predicament.
Yes, I am messaging everyone I can find on Teams because work decided not to pay me. But anyway, what I've been working on, I finally did my WD-40 collab thing.
Mm-hmm.
Collab. So I got approval last night for the video and have been posting everything today, which has been pretty cool and fun. So, yeah, I had lots of fun with it. I made a storyboard on my iPad, like every single sort of different camera angle that I wanted to cover, and made a script. And it actually was like the most effort I've put into effort to video length sort of thing. And it was actually really good to have something to follow.
Yeah,
you know? It was it was cool. So yeah,
I would have totally just done. I would have just done the Hank Hill part and not put him in there, and just seen if anyone got it. But it was good. Like I would actually, you could redo that clip and just do that, just cut it down to just that part and repost it.
Well, it's funny because I actually saw the day before I put my video out, I saw someone do the Hank Hill thing. They didn't put the Hank Hill video clip or anything, but they actually did the actual sprayed the doorknob and everything like he does.
Yeah. So I saw someone else do a WD-40 spot, and they did the Hawk Tua, and it was spraying WD-40. So.
Oh, gross. Also, update on the Hawk Tua. I did actually see Jimmy DeResta's reel, but I always keep the volume on my phone off because no one on Instagram ever fucking turns down the volume of whatever they're doing, and it just overwhelms me. So I was very confused, but then I remembered they all said he did one, and I went back and watched it again, and it was like, I get it, but I don't. So
it's and I don't mind those ones as much, where you take a popular clip and you if you see someone, they do it a lot with people falling over.
Yes, those I actually like.
Oh, where it transitions.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you fall, you're rolling out of their fall? I think those are good. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what I thought the Jimmy DeResta one was kind of a little bit like that. In that it transitioned into it.
Yeah. You just reminded me, I need to apologize. Apparently the whole teacher thing and everything was false. I misspoke. So there's actually a clip of her on a podcast talking about it, and all of that stuff's fake. She never lost her job. She's never been a teacher. She's not even old enough to be a teacher, apparently. So, yeah. I apologize for that. There's actually the tripping and falling transition thing. There's one that I saw not long ago where it is the worst transition ever. The person falls and then the person it's starts the next clip before they actually fall and stuff. It's the worst editing ever. But it's actually great because everyone's talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all you.
That's all I've been working on.
That's all you've been working on. I think. Sounds good.
Yeah.
We didn't write.
You know my life better than me, maybe. Yeah. I don't
know. So.
Well, yesterday was my
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say yesterday was my wife and I's 17-year anniversary, 10-year wedding anniversary. So.
Oh, fancy.
But other than that, nothing.
Cool.
Yeah, so I haven't been working on anything. I've just been in panic mode because our house is officially listed as of today. So Monday was me frantically doing all the last minute stuff I could think of. Tuesday, we woke up early and took pretty much all of the extra stuff that the realtor suggested removing to the garage, packing it away. And then the rest of the day was saging, and then a photographer came, so we had to leave because he did one of those like sort of Google Earth style home tours where you can like click on the circles and move ahead, that sort of thing. We got great drone shots of the property, which is pretty cool, but it's all very real now, and I'm kind of freaking out.
0 shots inside the giant shed, which there's like 13 shots of the shed from the outside. I'm like, yeah, it's the outside of the shed, but I can't really get a feel for it because it's in the middle of fucking nowhere with not even a tree around to give me any kind of scale. Like, I don't know, is this like, how big is this thing? I have no clue.
I thought it said in the listing that it was
I'm looking at
60 by
pictures.
40.
I'm looking at pictures.
Oh,
okay.
Well, I always read everything, so I'm
not going to actually buy it. I'm not going to. No, they don't. If you make an assumption about anything at all about people, it shouldn't be that they read. That should never be your assumption.
I know that, but I am disappointed in people continually. Like, use your fucking eyes. Your eyes and your brain work together. But I know this because I worked in retail for long enough that no one reads fucking anything.
So I think it's like, to go on another realtor rant, it is constantly a problem when I'm looking at properties that they have a garage or they have stuff that is clearly something interesting to look at, and you see it like in the corner of a picture in the background, and they do not go and focus on it, but there's 32 pictures of the kitchen. Like, I saw the picture of the kitchen. I know what it looks like. I can imagine that because I've seen lots of kitchens. I have not seen lots of workshops in the basement. What's happening back there? Can I get a shot of that? I've seen lots of garages. Some of them are 10 feet deep. And you go, why the fuck is there a 10-foot deep garage? Because they converted part of the garage into living space. And I'm like, I want to see that. I need to know, is this a fucking garage or is this a shed attached to the house? Like, you need to have those pictures because there's nothing worse. You go all the way out to a house, you go look at it. You open the garage and go, what the fuck is this bullshit? I couldn't park a car here. I could barely park my bicycles. And this is why you need to see. I didn't know your little barn thing was a dirt floor. I didn't know it had electricity. I didn't read the shit. All I saw was an outside 300 photos of it from the outside from a drone. I don't know.
Well, and I think
I didn't even know it was part of the house.
Yeah, so Tyler, like, he mentioned that to our realtor, and I think that I might go out there with my camera because I've got an external flash and just take a few pictures so that people have some idea. Because, I mean, it's fucking huge, and I know that if anyone local wants to buy here, and it's empty except for some weird wood stuff we still have to get rid of.
But it's not filled to the brim with garbage, which is what some people's, like, that's when you moved in, that's what you got.
Yep. Oh, don't remind me. This has been like the most stressful 2 months of my life.
You should rent a tiny tractor and park it in there and make it seem even bigger than it is.
I can put my push mower in there, but I'm not renting.
No, you need it to look. You need like one of those bobcats that. The tiny bobcats, they kind of look exactly like a real one. Bobcat.
Yeah.
Just get like a toy like excavator and put it in there, or like a dump truck from a mining site. Yeah, put that in there, but make it look like it's real and parked in there.
Get down real close to it,
yeah. Like when I did the wooden car picture.
I've never sold a house. How do you specify what stays and what goes? Or is it just assumed that everything goes?
So that is something that's been interesting, actually. So in most, based on what I've heard from realtors, this is my first time, so who the fuck knows? But based on what they've said, typically people will leave their appliances. And sometimes up here, people leave all of their furniture. So I think it kind of depends on the area because I mean, some people just flee and just leave everything. And in our case, so downstairs, we've got a projector and a big screen.
Yeah.
And everyone was asking, like, will you leave that with the house? And we hadn't thought about that, but it's like, I guess we could, considering it's all attached, or our Starlink internet. I didn't know that there's a huge waiting list for that. Because Tyler signed up like a year before it was even offered. So we were one of the first people to be able to buy one. Yeah, there's a waiting list. So a lot of the realtors were also asking, like, would you like to include that in the house? And so we'll probably do that just because they can't get good internet out here. Like, everything is pretty shit.
So my realtor basically said, if it's screwed or nailed to the wall, it is included unless explicitly not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And appliances are basically you choose yes or no with them. So when I bought the house, they included all the appliances except for the washer dryer. They had just bought them. They wanted to take them. Yeah. I didn't care. Right?
That's so weird. It was
included. Yeah. So you basically can include them or not.
Mm-hmm.
So in Australia, everything goes with you. Like, of course, not the oven and the stovetop and stuff, but like, you keep your fridge, you keep your own washing machine and dryer, you keep your TVs, nothing is included unless you specify the projector's included with the house. Otherwise, it's assumed that it's going with you.
But why? Why would I have to move a fridge into a place that has a different fridge and might have a different size fridge?
But they don't. When you move into a house, there's no fridge. No, not here.
Everyone, just wait. Let me finish my sentence.
God. Okay.
If everyone didn't move their fridge, they would already be there.
Okay, but you think, like, I go out and buy a $5,000 fridge, I'm not going to downgrade to a $100 fridge because that person didn't buy the $5,000 fridge.
It's fair.
So what people do if they have a $5,000 fridge and they want to keep their fridge, they move when they go to list their house, they either don't include it, they explicitly say we're not including it, or what a smart person does is they take their $5,000 fridge and replace it with a $100 fridge, and that's it. And that's what people do. So you can put a brand new fridge, right? We got with the house a brand new stove, and I did not give a fuck about it. I threw it in the garbage because I didn't want it because it was ugly as fuck, and it was like the cheapest stove. That's what they did. But why not the stove? The stove. What's the difference between the stove and the fridge?
Because the stove and the oven are built in. I don't know. That's just how. Right. Well, as far as I know, any time I know of people selling and buying here in Australia is you take your fridge and everything, but like a dishwasher stays and oven and stove stay.
Right.
Everything else is gone. If it's not attached to the house, it's not staying.
So a lot of fridges, there's different size fridges, right? There's wider ones, there's deeper ones, right? There's taller ones, there's shorter ones. There's ones that have different doors on them that match cabinets. And so you get into this part where you just go, well, we should just kind of leave this one with the thing because it doesn't make any sense.
If the fridge is built into the house like that, I would be leaving it.
Now you don't have a fridge.
If it's standalone,
now the person coming doesn't have a fridge.
But that's part of the house, though.
It's no different. It's just, this is the whole thing. It's just silly. These silly ways of doing things with these major appliances. They just go, if you just leave yours, I'll leave mine, and if I don't want yours, I'll let you know and you can take them. And if you don't want to leave them because you really liked your $5,000 fridge, then you can take them. But otherwise,
if you left your fridge behind, they would be calling you saying, "Come and get your fridge out of my house."
Yeah. What if you left a $5,000 fridge behind?
Doesn't matter. You've left junk to them. If you move into a house and someone's left something like that behind, then you have ditched and left rubbish behind. It is assumed the house will be completely empty. It's weird. I've always found that weird when I hear of that in America and stuff.
Do things.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know. So speaking of other stuff that I'm leaving, the weather station because where we move, we will have forecasts that can actually say what's happening. Where we are, never does the fucking forecast know anything. So I was like, we're willing to leave that because you'll never fucking know what temperature it is or the wind speed or if it might rain because we're in our own little microclimate here. So that's useful. And then I am attempting to see if the new owner would like my plants. Because there's no way I can move them unless I rent I think it would cost about $1,500 to rent a van and move it up to Washington. And I am realistically not sure that my plants are worth that, even though I'm very attached to them and they're giant. So, yeah, that sucks. And so I don't know. I just don't know what I'm going to do with those. And I'm also really stressing about losing them because most of them are 7 to 9 years old. So weird, but I am very attached. So I'm just upset about that.
That does suck. It sounds like you're going to be making a little money on this house, spend the money and get them moved. Other things that I've seen included with a house are tractors, riding lawnmowers, boats, right? Like ATVs.
Fucking boats. If there's ever a boat included in your house, fucking run, everyone, because they're really hard to get rid of. Really hard. Fucking run the other way. Do not. We had to pay to get a fiberglass boat cut into pieces so they could fucking junk it.
If you want to get rid of a boat, you take it to a dock, you put it in the water, you swim back to the shore, and it's no longer a problem.
Grant, you are assuming that this boat has a fucking trailer that works, which is not always the case.
You want to get rid of a boat, you drag a trailer on the road, and guess what? That trailer will go if you have a truck strong enough.
And that trailer stays attached to the boat when the boat goes in the water.
Perfect. Done. The trailers work.
No,
you can scrap
Tyler was going to do that. Yeah. He was considering doing that. Taking that fucking janky ass metal /wood /lots of glue and nails trailer. I wouldn't let him. I was like, no, you are going to die. You are not allowed to do this. Because it scared the fuck out of me. I mean, I think the blue boat that we got rid of, it was like the last year the trailer and the boat were tagged, I think was 1991. And just no.
Anyways, I don't know. I would just make the boat work because I have problems. Oh, what's that? An abandoned project of someone else's? Ha! That's now priority number 1 for no reason. I don't even want the boat. I don't want to go boating, but it's priority number 1 for me.
Well, and did I tell you guys about the boats and all the shit in them?
You told me there's a lot of garbage, but...
Okay, well, this man was a fucking wood hoarder, like the guy who lived here before. So we had glanced at the boats, we kind of thought we knew what we were dealing with. But when it came time to actually take the stuff out of them and make actual plans, we just kept finding fucking logs. You'd take a tarp off. We've already taken 6 logs out of it. You take the tarp off and there's a whole fucking other layer of wood in there. And it was all rotted because it had sat there and gotten wet. I was just so mad at him. And we have so many gas cans with old gas in them, which is impossible to get rid of where we live. So we're going to have to take them down to Denver, I'm pretty sure. I don't know any other way that we can do it. Oh my God.
You could burn it.
Yeah, I'm not willing to do that. Because, no.
And you could put those rotten logs and soak them in gas. And
those rotten logs have already been in the 30-ton dumpster and they're gone. I did.
All right.
Yeah.
Next time you save the money and you have a 30-ton dumpster bonfire.
Oh, I really would never do that because I have had to smell burning plastic for like years at this point because we have fucking redneck trailer trash basically that lives like, I don't know, a fourth of a mile from us, or they used to. I'm pretty sure they got evicted. And they didn't want to pay to get their trash picked up, so they just burned everything. And I'm just like, no, I do not want to be that person that is making everybody else's house smell like burning trash. Ugh.
Okay.
I have strong feelings about a lot of things right now because I'm so stressed.
Apparently you do. So what have I been working on, you ask? Well, I've been busy. I took the weekend. It was Canada Day weekend, and I had a long weekend because of that. And I made a vanity. So 6-ish years ago, I sold the old vanity, which was way too big. It was like a 55-inch vanity in a space that really could like it encroached on you sitting on the toilet. I went like, this is too big.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, like it felt like you could use it as an armrest. I was like, that's not what the vanity was too big. But that's what that was there when we moved in. Anyway, so when I redid the bathroom, I took it out, and I had an idea of I wanted to have a floating vanity. And we already had a granite countertop, and I was like, okay, I'll use the granite countertop that we got from our other bathroom renovation, and I'll just make a floating vanity top. So I just was like, let me just see if the wall would support it. So I just put it up with some 2x4s. It would not support it. It was janky AF. And I was like, ooh. And like I'd even like made a triangle, triangle thing. The studs didn't line up properly to give it good support across the thing. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So I was like, I got to rethink this. And I just put some legs on my little, half triangle bullshit that was hanging on the walls. I put some front legs on it, and I said, I'll figure something else out. And I talked to my wife, and we hadn't figured it out until I said, she really like had a problem with like these little step stools that I had built, because without them being up against something, they're kind of tippy, and like the kids weren't very good at like lining them up, so they'd often like go underneath this open space underneath the sink and like fall and shit. Anyways, so I said, you know what? I'm going to design a vanity that has a pull out where the toe kick is, because it's wasted space. That's the pull out of a step stool.
Mm-hmm.
So I put like 16-inch drawer sliders on it, and I designed an upside down shelf, and I also put just shy of like probably leaving like a millimeter of clearance. I put rubber stoppers, like rubber feet. So when you stand on it, you only have to go down a millimeter, and now you're on rubber feet, so it won't move around while you're standing on it. I was going to put them on springs, but I was going to put everything on springs. But anyways, it didn't need it. So it's awesome. It worked out perfectly. I put it in place. I pull it out. Everything's great about that. I go to put the vanity top back on, I go to look at it, and I go, this looks like it might be just a little bit bigger than I thought. Like it might not fit exactly where I thought, because the sink has one of those like, overflow drains, so you can't like overflow it, and that was sticking out like 1.5 inches under the counter. So I measured from the top and didn't think about the underneath. And from the top, it would have fit. It would have fit with a good like 1/4 inch of clearance. And I look underneath, and I'm like, ooh, this is much bigger underneath than I thought. And so I measured it, and I got to cut 1.5 inches off the granite. And so that's what I did yesterday. I got out the diamond saw and a grinder and cut that off. And then I said, I figured since I'm at it, I might as well polish the edges, because that granite countertop that I'm reusing used to be in a 3-wall enclosed area, so the edges weren't finished. And now it's not. Now it's going to be floating. So I got a little polish kit, and was doing that. It is so it's a $25 like 50 to 3,000 grit polishing kit. $25, like great. They're like Velcro onto the grinder, and it's spinning so fast. The vibrations, because you can never get those Velcro things on perfectly, like centered. And even when you do, as soon as you turn it on, it like shifts, and you're like, "Fuck!" And the vibrations have made my carpal tunnel go insane. So that's fun. But I got it done because that's what you do. All I gotta say is that if it is a dry only thing and it's raining outside, it will stop working properly, and you need to stop when it starts raining. So I got to 1,000 grit and everything was going fine. And then it started raining and one of the pads got kind of wet. And it just seemed like it, instead of like polishing it more, it was just like depositing like gross black stuff. So I got to 1,000 and I stopped there. So instead of going to 3,000, it's not as smooth as the front, because clearly the front was done by like professionals, but it's smooth enough that I'm not worried.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. 1,000 grit, you're good.
1,000 grit, I'm good. If tomorrow, because it's still out there, if tomorrow it is dry, I will see if I can do it. But I think I've contaminated the next grits with bullshit. The other thing, I'm going camping next week, so we will not be having an episode of Clamp next week. Our 200th or 199 and a half episode will not be happening next week, but it will be the live show, so we need to figure out a schedule for that anyways. And yeah, so this is our penultimate episode. I kind of wanted to talk about things that are the right before the ultimate, right? And when I talk about that, I think about, in an earlier episode, I talked about how I only like to bring things to 90% done, right? The last 10% is impossible to do. And I think it's because I don't like things to end. And in the pre-show, I talked about how we're never going to have a 200th episode. We're going to have 199 and a half, 199 3/4, 199 7/8, right? We're just going to keep having these shows instead of having a 200th episode. Jessy and Adam disagree. So I wanted to hear their thoughts on the right before the end, the penultimate.
So as a nerd, someone who, spent my entire childhood years reading, the penultimate always stresses me out. Just because it's always either books or TV shows. It's always sort of like, how is all of this going to conclude? There's still things happening. It freaks me out. Or, I mean, right now, I think I'm in that stage with moving, and it's just everything's still up in the air and scary. And I don't know. That's always what I think about when I think penultimates. Adam's texting.
Sorry. Payroll finally got back to me.
Yay!
But they didn't even fix it right.
Oh my God, no.
Still missing like $1,000. Anyway,
Good Lord.
I don't think about penultimate, and I more think of just where we've come from. It's insane to me to think like we're almost at 200 episodes and we've been doing this for 4 years almost.
Right. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. This week, we're talking about not just podcasting, but like you're watching a TV show like the not Lord of the Rings, House of the Dragon. What is that fucking
House of the Dragon?
Winter is coming. Winter is coming.
Game of Thrones.
What is that? Game of Thrones. And you're watching the 7th season, and you know the 8th season is coming. right? And it's going to be the last season. They've said it's going to be the last season. So, this is the penultimate season. Are you more excited or less excited knowing it's the second to last?
Never think about it.
Oh,
Never
really?
think about
See,
it. That
I
sounds
really
about right.
do.
Yeah.
And but with TV shows that I'm really into, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something recently that we got really sucked into. But a lot of times I will get upset because it's like we only have so much left.
Right.
Yeah. Or like, a good example of this for me is Doctor Who, New Who, not Old Who. When David Tennant was leaving, that I found very hard. And I actually haven't continued watching Doctor Who after that point, just because I knew he was going to be gone and it wasn't going to be as good anymore. And it's fine, but
Guess what?
I don't know.
He came back to do an episode. It's the only episode.
Yeah.
I watched Matt Smith, all of Matt Smith's Reign of Terror. But after that, I have. Bad. No, I just like the Doctor is really a terrorist, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Let's not get into that one.
He's a time terrorist. Trying to make amends for all the bad things he's ever done. So,
I think I've heard about this. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, or he's not. I don't know. It's all fucked up. It's like it's time travel, so it's weird. But yeah, that's David Tennant came back to introduce the latest Doctor.
Okay.
And
I really need to catch up.
Disney Plus. So, like when I think of penultimate, I think of how are they ever going to actually resolve all of this in the time that's left? There isn't sufficient time.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
always
I think
say
of.
That to Tyler. I think it drives him nuts.
Like, how are they going to do it? And then the problem is they'll say to be continued. That's how we're going to end the 200th episode. Is at the end saying goodbye. I'm just going to say to be continued. And guess what? Maybe we'll do a 201. We already said crazy people come up. If Adam Savage says, I want to be on Clamp, are you guys going to come around for a 201? You're going to say, nah, I don't want to bust that myth.
If we follow my track record, we quit and then a year later come up with something else.
Yeah. Well, and that's completely okay too. And this is a little bit for the next episode, but it's like, thinking about all the things that you need to wrap up before it's done. Right? We've announced it's happening. It's coming to an end. There are a lot of things that, to reflect on and think about when you're talking about the penultimate of something, the second to last, right? The next one's the last, but you're like, the next one, that's it. After that, there's nothing else. So I really thought you guys would have more to say about the second to last, and instead I was just like, never thought about it in my life.
I know. I mean,
I said some things.
I mean, I do.
Conversation completely.
I mean, I kind of like relate to Jessy. Like if I'm really into a TV show and I know that there's only one season left, then I get like not sad, but like, oh, it's gonna suck. Like no more of it or whatever. But I'm never like, oh, this season better be good because it's the second last, or they better do this because it's the second last. I don't ever think about that. I think about like, the end's coming, but I don't think about the second to last or anything like that.
I think another good example for me, like when you're playing an RPG and you've been playing it for like 80 hours and you get that like message that this is kind of the last thing. Make sure you've done everything you need to do. Make sure you've saved. That will have me procrastinating so bad. In a lot of cases, like when that came up in Dragon's Dogma 2, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go online and see if I missed anything. I got to figure this out. Like, is there anything else I need to do before I go fight this giant fucking statue thing? Like,
right.
Yeah. So, I always feel like I need to be very prepared.
This is where I don't like the end of things. I don't like things coming to an end. I don't like to finish anything. I don't like anything being done because something being done can't be undone. Yeah. Like it can, but it can't. It was done. It's been said. It's done. So can you undo it? Like tomorrow, if we all said, "Oh fuck it, we're gonna continue Clamp," we'll be like, "Oh, I've already given up on them." and right, like we've given it up. So we've already said it. It can't be undone. Right, and there's a lot of people who go like, "I collect endings," right? And they need, like Brad, I've talked to Brad about being like a completionist. When you're a completionist, like getting to the second to last thing, I think is probably as good as it ever gets. Because the last one is it. The second to last, there's still something to come. But the last is it. It's done. And I used to have a big problem with like collecting things, and I got into like this problem of like almost obsessively, I would go through like hundreds and hundreds of pennies a day. I would go everywhere and collect their pennies. I would go in exchange. I want all of your pennies out of your cash register. Right? I'd go in and say like, yeah. And I would go, because I was collecting pennies, and I would look through all the pennies, and I had almost every single penny from loose change. I got from like the 1930s to the 80s just from myself looking through pennies. Except there was a couple years that were very scarce and I could not find them. And they were like my obsession like stopped that, and I just went like, I don't know what to do about this. Like, because I will never find one. They're so rare that they have, they made 100 of them in all of Canada. You're never going to find, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like a misprint or, a year that during the war where they just said, well, we're not going to make any pennies this year because we're going to use that copper for bullets or whatever. And I guess I kind of at some point said, like, I need to like stop this. I need to stop collecting. I need to stop. I can't be a completionist. It will ruin my life. And so I did. And that's where I think the second to last is more exciting to me. I like my favorite Lord of the Rings movie is the second movie.
Two Towers is the best one for sure.
Yeah. And because the other one, it's going to come to an end and you're going to be sad because it's over. And I don't want to be sad.
And also like with the books and TV shows, video games, all of that, I think there's also a lot of apprehension moving to the final because some of those people aren't going to make it. Like that's something else that I always think about because it's just like, yeah, penultimate, everybody's doing good, we're adventuring, things are going great, and you just know that all the shit's going to go down in the last bit.
So who isn't going to make it to episode 200?
That's what I was about to say. Which one of us is going to kill another one of us?
Oh, I'm not going to kill, but I may not make it. I don't like to finish anything when we talk about
Grant just doesn't show up for like 5 times we schedule it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have much more to say. We had a longer episode last week. We can have a shorter one this week. You guys have anything else to say about the second to last episode of Clamp? Next episode, we're going to be talking about how the podcast affected us, changed us. However you want to talk about it, we're going to be talking about that next week. Next episode, not next week.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now, probably.
At least 2 weeks. It will be a live episode. So we will be announcing it on the Clampstagram.
Yeah, and that is scary. See, there is something scary about the last one. It's live. Yeah.
I'm going to have to try and work out how to do live again because it's been a while.
Yeah. Are we going to Skype?
Last time was shit. No, I hated doing it with the Skype. Like the whole way that we did it was frustrating.
I remember one time we did it and it was super smooth, and then another time we did it and it seemed like a lot of work for you.
Yeah, there was the one time, which I think was last time, where we did Skype and I did like in OBS, where like I cut out everyone sort of thing, and it was horrible. So hopefully we don't have to do that again. I'm going to have a look online, see if I can find a better option, because I'm surely there's something by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'm going to thank our Patreon supporters. And I want to announce that there were 2 people who heeded the call to become F-Clamp level supporters who will never get charged until we start again and then charge them. And they go, what the fuck? But no, I'm just joking. So Brad from Brad's Customs and Jim Rumsey both signed up to be F-Clamp level supporters in perpetuity. But the ones that have actually supported us along the way is those people have supported us, but the ones who have F-Clamp level supported us along the way are Scott from Daddy Yourself DIY, David Wood from DW Wood Builds, Brad from I'm Gonna Make, and Chad from Chad's Custom Creations, and everyone else who supports us. Thank you so much. Every single supporter will be named in the next episode. I will print out a list so that I have it. I want to thank TF Turning for the theme song. Next episode's going to be the last time you get to hear a TF Turning original.
It's true.
And maybe we'll have a special guest next episode, but probably not.
What is happening?
Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Adam Savage, if you're out there, do you want to be a special guest?
Everyone tag Adam Savage. Get him on.
Yeah. Yeah, if Adam, you want to be on?
If Adam Savage agrees to do an episode, I'll do a 199.5.
Okay.
Because we don't want to do a live episode with Adam.
I want to do a live episode with Adam. I want us to be like in the background of one of his episodes of like 17-hour episodes on YouTube that he does.
True, but I don't want him to come on an episode where it's all shit because we don't know how to use live properly. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll be a 2.0001 episode if we've already done it. And he says, "Yeah, I would actually like to go on your defunct podcast."
It's my highest priority. Yeah.
People do things for weird reasons. You realize that, right?
It's true, but I'm not sure about that one.
Quickly before we do finish, that makes me think, especially with Adam, of how many people have gone from ending TV to going into YouTube.
Yeah.
Like even like I think James May. No, not James May. Who's the one that crashes all the time? Richard Hammond.
Oh, Richard Hammond.
Yeah, Richard Hammond. He's got his own YouTube channel now too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, James May has a great one.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it is, and I think during COVID that exploded because people had creativity they wanted to get out and needed money, which is very interesting. We'll talk in the after show about some money that I got. Until then, goodbye, everyone. To be continued.